Jim Ross said to Sid, we're live, pal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. To another live stream of the Sports Refuge. I am Earl Holland, and with me, this is one I've been trying to put together for a long time, and I'm glad it is finally coming to fruition. With me, two good friends from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I know, stop me if you've heard this one before. With me, my guests are Victoria Robinson and Scott Johnson. Thank you guys for being on this live stream of the podcast. This is something I want to do, especially with tomorrow being my birthday, so this is sort of one of the things that I wanted to do and be able to get this. So this is a pretty nice and neat birthday present. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time coming. You've been trying to put this together, and finally, I'm here in the flesh. I'm here.
Oh yeah,
and I.
Okay, now I'm ready. Anyway,
yes.
I'm saying it's baseball season. I put away all my football stuff because, I put it away in September. But I'm just glad our schedules finally connected and we had a chance to do this because, we've been gone for a long time from the shore, and it's nice to connect nowadays.
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially with everything that's going on. It is so crazy. And again, I appreciate you guys for taking time to your busy schedules. I know, as I always say now, since last March, that COVID and everything else has made it a little bit difficult for people to physically get together now. So virtually is the new path to doing that. And of course, what can you do? The first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, especially maybe some of you guys have seen Scott or listened to Scott's previous episode where he talked about what it was like growing up in New York and living in New York. Scott, when you had that episode out, what was the reaction to the people who listened to that episode?
Well, the reaction was mixed because most of my friends were Jets fans. They was like, why were you rooting for them? That's basically the only question they asked me. Why would you root for the Giants? I was like, they understood, for my grandfather, they understood that. But when they saw the pictures of me and all the Giants gear, they were just like, really, bro? Like, I was like, it was my grandfather. Like, are you going to hold that against me? Like, come on. Besides, I have worse jerseys than that. They could ridicule me for years, so I'm not even worried about that one.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So again, the main focus on this episode is, especially like I said, you guys being one of the many segments of people that I had, had established friendships with at UMES, because I know there's so many people, and like, when you meet people, sometimes there's different phases in life, and a lot of people are a part of that phase at UMES. I mean, there's too many to count, and those people will be on for another day and another time. But yeah, I really appreciate the you guys being here, and I think the biggest thing is I wanted to get right into this. What led to you guys going to UMES? And I know that it is a interesting story, and I know people always have a mixed story or mixed history when it comes to UMES, but it's always interesting to find out what led them to this direction. And Vicky, we'll start with you first.
My parents. They made me. I mean, well, not necessarily UMES. I'll just be honest. I applied on a whim, and they accepted me, and I said, well, I'm going. And it was, I think for me, the good thing about choosing UMES, that I was still far away enough from home so I can have my independence. But, if something happened, my family weren't too far away. It's probably a 2.5 hour drive. So it was good. I was definitely shocked when I didn't do a tour before going there. So, it was just, I basically was just winging it. I was like, okay, I looked online, looked at the beautiful pictures that they had. And then when I was driving down there to go to school, I was like, whoa, where am I going? It's all this farmland. And lo and behold, we're stuck out in the middle of the country, coming, to a ghost town. So, I mean, I don't regret it. I mean, I definitely see it was really beneficial for me to be out there. I was able to focus and study and do a good job. So, that's my, my alma mater. So I'm gonna rep UMES always.
How about you, Scott?
Well, I wouldn't say my mother forced me to go there. I would say that I do have family in Maryland. When I first heard about going to Maryland, I thought it was the
College Park.
Yeah, I thought it was College Park, and then I was like, oh, that's not that bad. I mean, my aunt's like down the road near Landover. It's cool. And then it said Princess Inn. I was like, I'm sorry, is this like a separate part? Like, is this like, oh, dang. Yeah, but I'm really glad I did choose it. It was just an experience of being away, and I'm further away. It's like 5-6 hours, depending on how fast you drive down there. But I mean, it was a great experience, being that far away from home, but not like far away, like cross county. But oh no, it was a good experience. I can't knock it.
Yeah, and I looked at UMES. It was sort of like I had applied 4 colleges: College Park, Salisbury, one in Chestertown, Washington College, and then UMES. And like I got in all 4 of them, and the money was the issue. So I ended up taking a scholarship. Scholarship at UMES, which didn't last long after first year, but and the rest is history and everything else that occurred. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys, how did you guys meet at UMES?
Oh, Jesus.
You want to tell the stories, Scott? Or...
Do I? Oh,
Well, I'll let him go first, and then I will correct him.
Oh, God. Okay.
I think we may not remember exactly. I think our interpretations will be.
No, I remember. I remember it. Do I like telling this story? No, but so it was it was like the first week of classes, and I overslept out of nervousness and fear and everything, and then I didn't know where I was going, so I'm in a mad scramble to get to freshman orientation.
No, it was English class.
Oh, it was English class. Okay, that's why she's correcting me. So I bust through the door with this awkward look on my face. I was just like, hey, what's up? Oh my God. I was just lucky no bowel movements came out of me after that moment.
Were you embarrassed, Scott?
Yes, I was. I mean, I try to be, you have this mindset when you go to your first year of college. You're like, you want to establish yourself. You want to be the cool guy. You want to be the confident guy. That went out the window in about 5 seconds.
You know what? It was bad. It was really, really bad. Like, from my perspective,
I'm just gonna.
I just thought to myself, like, I mean, he's right. I mean, at that time, I believe the classes were only like 50 minutes. We're already like 10 minutes into the class. And here you have this guy just busting this to the door, and everybody looks at him, and he's like sweating, and he's like, "Hey!" Everybody just looked at him like, "What in the world?" And I just remember thinking in my head, like, "Yo, this guy just really, really embarrassed himself. Like, how did he not know where the class was? Like, literally, we came down there at least a week before school started. So that was the purpose of you going to orientation and finding out your classes." And I'm like, how did he get lost? Like, there's literally nothing to do on campus. So that was my thought. And then he came and he sat down right next to me.
I'm just like, so what's up?
It was definitely an awkward moment, and the compassionate side of me, I felt for him because it was one of those moments that you just, if the floor could open up, you would want to fall through it. It was one of those moments. But I'm
still looking for that floor. I was still looking for. I was just like, just go in, just like.
But many years later, we can look back. That was what, fall of 2002. We can look back and we can laugh at that moment. Definitely, for sure.
No, you definitely can't. I just, every time I hear that, I'm just like,
It's like, look, we're gonna forget that day. It did not exist. It did not.
I swear, Vic, I think you're gonna bring up that day to my kids. You like this? You know how awkward your father is. Let me tell you.
Do you have any breaking news, Scott?
Look, there's many stories I can tell them. But I'm sorry.
Move on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Scott, did you have any breaking news? You were talking about, hey, you're going to tell my children this. Like, are there anything?
No, I'm good. One day.
One day, like, in the future, you got to speak things into existence.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still waiting for the lottery. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, at this point, just do the pick 3, pick 4, and just play the box, and you'll be fine. You'll make at least a little bit of money there. But going on to you guys, I know you guys are diehard sports fans. Scott, you're pretty much a fan on everything in New York. Being in New York, was it difficult to try to choose the teams that you had to be a fan of? Especially, it feels like there's a particular dividing line in New York when it comes to what teams you're a fan of.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's like there's a fine thin line, and it's like once you pick that side, if you flip flop, you're done. Like, you just have to stick this out through and through. When I was younger, I grew up a Mets fan. I chose the Jets. Yeah, genius move, because my grandfather always liked the Giants. And when I was a kid, I always asked him, can he take me to games? And he was like, no, you're just a kid. I think that's why I picked the Jets over the Giants, because my grandfather, shunned me from the Giants. I was like, oh, Giants don't want me. Okay, I'll pick the great team.
A losing team. So you showed him by picking a losing team.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna pick the Jets. Yeah, how'd that work?
That's not good.
Scott, has your alliance changed with the NBA teams now? Are you still a Knicks fan? Have you jumped on the Nets bandwagon?
No, I will not do that. I stuck with the Knicks throughout all of this. Like, good or bad, I'm wearing Knicks sweatpants right now. I'm sticking with the Knicks, because they're getting it together, and it's actually good to talk something positive about the Knicks. Like, let us have this moment.
I think anything regarding the Knicks, normally you can't think of anything positive to talk about, especially right now. But so Vicky, you are a DC area native, and I assume you follow a lot of the DC teams except for one. And I'm curious to find out how you became a Denver Broncos fan, and really what other allegiances and alliances are to the DC sports teams.
I'll be honest. I cannot explain why. It's just something. When I was a little
All right. I'm sorry, I had a cough.
Whatever. when I yeah, you're right. Say it. I was always a John Elway fan. I mean, from me being a little girl, for some reason I loved the Denver Broncos, and I couldn't explain it. I was playing with the Denver Broncos back when we had Nintendo Tecmo Bowl. Like, that's how far back my love for the Broncos. I can't really explain it. I mean, I followed them throughout the years and supported them, even when they were losing and when they won back-to-back championships. And was it 1998, 99? And even when they won with Peyton Manning. But I think after that, it's kind of, I won't say that my allegiance to them has gone away. It's just kind of, with the whole NFL, I kind of taken a back seat on watching. I don't keep up with it as much.
Mm-hmm. At the other DC teams, do you follow them a lot as well? The Caps, the Nationals, the Wizards. I almost forgot them because it's not difficult to forget about them right now.
The crazy thing is, as far as DC's teams, I don't really, I don't want to say I don't support them. I go to national games. It's just kind of, it sucks because I'll be honest, they're not really winning. I would say in the last couple of years, it's like the Mystics have won a championship. The Capitals have won a championship. The Nationals have won a championship. The Wizards and the Washington football team, they're just, they're just hanging out there.
Poor you. Like, you got like 4 championship parades, and you're just like, oh, the Capitals won. The Mystics won.
No, what I'm saying is that in recent years, they have, DC has really been showing up as far as their teams, but it's like, football and basketball is really popular, and it's just unfortunate that, those two prominent sports have not brought a championship back home to DC. And I kind of feel like it's not right that the Mystics have won. It's kind of been pushed under the rug that they brought a championship to DC. If the Wizards won, I'm sure it wouldn't have been, it would have been wildly celebrated. But I mean, I'm grateful that those other teams have won, but I need the Washington football team to step it up. I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, that I could talk for days regarding them and their mishaps and just some of the decisions that they've made. And
yeah, I can relate.
I mean, like, I really believe that, like, sometimes I look at certain teams and I just feel like that particular team is just so committed to failing. Like, no matter, I've never seen another group so willingly to throw their team into the dirt.
I mean, there were Clippers fans who probably knew what that was like a very, very long time ago. Well, probably up to like 10 years ago, but
The Jets.
Yeah. Hard to believe that anybody can say, well, man, they were actually, people miss the Rex Ryan days, but I don't think that'll ever happen. That'll ever be said. But the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, living in 2 different areas, comparing and contrasting New York and DC. And to you, if you can, state your case for why your region/area is the Scott, let's start with you about New York.
Oh God, that means I have to talk positive about the other side of New York teams.
It could be just in New York City in general.
In that case, like, I mean, we have a unique thing. It's like everybody hates us. It's like extra motivation for them to hate us, and we hate internally too. It's like, oh, I'm a Yankee fan. Oh, I'm a Met fan. Let's fight each other. Actually, this is a funny story and a true story. About 2 years ago, we went to Boston to see the Mets versus the Red Sox. The Boston fans loved us. Like, we were all chanting in unison, Yankees suck over there. Like, it was hilarious. And they was like, oh, we love you. No, it's not disloyal. We both hate the Yankees. Like,
disloyal.
It's not disloyal. And I was like, I wonder if we wore Yankee stuff, would they treat us the same way? They would not.
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's like there's not really much of a rivalry with DC. It's more like Boston and Philly. We really got a gripe with. DC is like, it's just like you got your issues with Philly too. So we have that common interest. So.
What about the food and the culture and everything else about New York City? You know, outside of the realm of sports.
The culture is, it's fast paced. If you're slow, we'll probably just move you over and get to where we gotta go. Like, that's kind of how it is. Like, we're more like move, get out the way. Like, I'm trying to get somewhere. It's like everyone's trying to get somewhere. It's just like. You can't just sit there and watch. Like, ooh, look at that. Excuse me, I gotta get to work.
It's like they're proud of being rude. You know?
No, we're not rude. We're in a hurry. We're trying to get somewhere. Like.
Okay, now for the case for the nation's capital, Vicky.
What was the question again? I was too busy distracted.
Oh, staking your case on why DC's a better city than New York.
DC is the city of power. It's the nation's capital. I would say that DC is full of, just rich culture. There's so much things that we look back, and I feel like I take pride in, I've lived in this area my whole entire life, and I feel like there's no place like it, the mumbo sauce, the go-go music. Like, that's a national treasure, that's a national treasure. I mean, I know somebody may fight me for saying this, but I'm not really a fan of Ben Chili Bowl. Like, I don't Ben's Chili Bowl. When you go to get the hash smokes with the chili, whatever. I don't know why people come from around the world to go there, but I'm not really a fan of it. But people love it. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like the DC metropolitan area has so much to offer. They have the museums, the monuments. Even in Maryland, we love our crabs. I am a diehard seafood fan, so I'm always eating, Maryland blue crabs all year round. So I feel that, DC is, I don't want to say better than New York, but I'm biased.
I have to say one thing. What is it about Ben's Chili Bowl you don't like? Is it the sausages themselves? Is it the chili, or? I
think it's the sausage itself. The hash smoke, and also I think it's because of the hype. It's like, don't get me wrong. It is a staple in DC. People come to around the country to go to Ben's Chili Bowl, but it's just like, how people hype certain things up so much, and you feel like, oh my God, I gotta have it. And then when you have it, you're just like, the experience is is okay. It's not, it doesn't meet the level of the hype.
Is there a better half smoke?
I say that.
Sorry, I'll cut you off there. Is there a better half smoke in the DC metropolitan area?
That one, I don't think. I don't know. Because I'm not really a hash smoke kind of person. But I don't know. I mean, that's just a staple. That's the place that people know,
Scott, to you, what's the iconic food landmark in New York City? What is a particular place where everybody says you have to go, or the touristy spot for foodies in New York?
wow, it's just like there's so many options. It's just like a melting pot. Everyone comes for the pizza. It's like you think of New York, you think of pizza, like, and there's always that debate: who serves the better pizza? Like the
That I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I think DC has better jumbo slices than New York. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying,
That,
like,
that may be blasphemous, and I know I'm probably never gonna. I'm never gonna be able to walk the streets of New York again. But
yeah, they're gonna see this. They'll be like, "Hey, is that the girl talking smack about our city?"
right, I won't be able to walk the streets of New York. But I think I've had better jumbo slices in Adams Morgan than I have in New York. So
Mm.
Yeah, it's like I think how everybody talks about cheesesteaks in Philly, and like I had put up a thing on Facebook. We were in Philly one day, and like I asked people, "Where's the best place in Philly to get a cheesesteak?" And I had like 15 different answers. And I hear the touristy places like Geno's and Pat's and all this other stuff, and everybody's talking about all the touristy stuff. And then we went to this one place called Joe's in down in Fishtown, and that was probably the best cheesesteak that I had in a while. And for some reason, I used to love cheesesteaks, but I feel like I've outgrown it. I don't know, just something different about the taste. But we went there, best fries, best cheesesteak, pretty cool, I guess, sort of toppings bar, which was pretty cool about that. But to me, everybody's gonna have their favorite place, their claim to fame, the one place that they love the most. And when you
it's
can,
subjective.
yeah,
I went to Geno's, and I mean that's the place that you always see Pat's and Geno's. You always see it in movies and things like that. But to be honest, I didn't like Geno's. I really didn't. And they were kind of rude up there. But the best cheesesteak I've ever had was from D'Alessandro's. D'Alessandro's is the best that I've had in Philly. Like, definitely. Like anybody, or I'm sure people in Philly have been there before. I mean, it's a wait. It's one of those places, there's nowhere to park. Like, call your order in and like have your car in hazard and run in and grab it. But it's definitely was worth the drive to go to D'Alessandro's.
yeah, and that was one of the ones mentioned too. And I'm like, there's too many to choose from. And honestly, if I can avoid going to Philadelphia as much as I can, and I'm like 40 minutes away, I'll do it. And that's pretty much my thing, avoiding Philadelphia altogether. But I always
what's the reason?
I just don't like Philadelphia. I honestly, New York City is sort of like, like I said, DC, Baltimore, yes. New York, I always used to talk about how bad the weather was and how really the only time I saw the sun was shining on New York was an infamous day in history in 2001. But we'll just leave it at that. So I just say that honestly, New York is, it has its uses. It has its purposes. I've been there a couple of times, but only if I really need to go to New York. That's the only way I'll go. Like Philly, I have no need to go to Philly. Maybe for cheaper concerts. They're equivalent to like Wolf Trap, which is again much closer than driving all the way to Virginia. But that's a whole different story. And the next thing I want to talk to you about is something on the docket, of course, attending sporting events prior to the craziness that occurred. Let's just say basically last March. Before that, how often did you guys go to sporting events, and what were your favorite ones to go to at the time?
You want to go first, Scott?
Oh yeah, so I don't go to sporting events because they're too expensive. Like I mostly go to like the Mets games and maybe the Brooklyn Cyclone games. I don't really go to Yankee games because they're too expensive and I hate them. Anyway,
You hate them. Why did I think that you used to like the Yankees? I don't know.
No,
why.
I used to no. I used to work at Yankee Stadium, so
Okay.
I know how they roll. Like I'm just like, dude, no. And I shouldn't be saying this because my wife is a Yankee fan, but dude,
Uh-oh. It's about to be trouble.
She knew what I was when she put the ring on, so I don't care. Anyway, no, but before the pandemic, I really didn't go to like much sporting events because I was working too much and it was like way too pricey. So I just, I go to like one football game. I'd be sitting like it'd be a group thing. I don't be like spending like $300 to sit in the middle of the field. No, like I just mostly stuck watching the games on TV and just going to the occasional Met game when they had like a special.
So how about you, Vicky?
Well, me, I used to have this thing where I used to tell myself that, because everything is so close to me. You hop on the metro, you can go to, the Capital One Center. I think that's what it's called now, or Capital One Arena. And go to the Washington football. Literally, I can drive in my car and be there in 10 minutes. I had a thing where I told myself that each quarter or each season that I will try to attend one game per season. So whenever it's football season, I will go to the football games, whether it's a preseason or a regular season. I have not gotten to hockey yet. That's one thing that I've been trying to do, go to see the Caps play. I don't like cold. So I just figured that, it's in a cold season and is also inside with ice. But I'm going to put that on my bucket list. And I really love going to the Nationals game. But COVID has really taken that out for me. And basketball is one that I probably should get into. Literally sometimes before COVID, they're literally giving tickets away, literally giving tickets away. Hopefully whenever, we get this pandemic under control, that maybe we'll get back to some normal life. I really miss going to the baseball games because I feel like being there makes it better. It's something that I can't watch baseball on TV and get the same feeling that I get when I'm in the stadium. I just feel I feel a little bit more engaged into the game when I'm actually there. I think the last, it's probably been maybe 2018 is when I went to the Nationals game because they were playing the Dodgers because Yasiel Puig, was still playing. I like him. So I went to see him play against the Nationals. So I think that was the last time. And it's like, no matter what, anytime I go, it must be a curse or something. Anytime I go to see the Nationals, it always rains. Every single time I go, it always rains. There's never been a time that I've gone to see the Nationals and it hasn't rained. Every single time.
Yeah, and honestly, I miss going to the games too. I haven't been to an Orioles game since probably August of 2019. August of 2019 was probably the last game I went to because, we were pretty much, they were on the road pretty much a chunk of September, and then we were out of town on vacation. And then, of course, everything starts falling apart with COVID and everything. And then they decide to go without teams, without fans. And that was really a tough thing because honestly, living in Pennsulvania, I don't live in Pennsylvania. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Living in Delaware, you are sort of
Philly is on your mind.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's like the hateful person that's done you wrong or something. You just can't get rid of it. But being in Delaware, we're in this weird zone where we're in the blackout zone of basically three cities: Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. All last season, I could not watch an Orioles game. I couldn't do it. Not because I couldn't do it as like I was disappointed. I could not actually watch it because they didn't stream from inside the market. They were in the blackout range because where we're at, we're about 70 miles from Baltimore. That's still in that 100-mile range. Basically, it could be worse if you're a fan of the Orioles and you live in North Carolina. You're pretty much screwed because you can't do anything there. But it was just pretty much listening to them on the radio all the time, using jailbroken Fire Sticks, anything else to watch a baseball game because you couldn't go. You were sort of handcuffed. You couldn't go. You couldn't watch them legally. And that was sort of I was probably a little less invested in them than I normally would have, especially seeing they contended probably to like the last week of the season before they melted down. But that's the one disappointing thing. I have seen hockey. I went to see a Flyers game, and Philly fans are Philly fans. The fact that they were super excited even after the Flyers got eliminated the night before from the playoff hunt, and they were still in it the last week, and then they laid an egg, and Philly fans laid into them, which is a traditional Philly style because, I will say this, while New York fans, they're passionate, Philly fans are a lot more passionate about their sports. But oh yeah, nuts. And everybody's gonna go to the whole example of they booed Santa Claus.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're so dedicated. After they won the Super Bowl, one of the fans ate poop.
What?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean,
What?
Hey,
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Yes, he ate. Was it horse? It was horse. It was horse excrement. He was so excited.
Wait a minute.
It was a police horse. So
he just wait.
You did not hear about this?
No, I did not. I'm trying to make that make sense. Okay, I can understand you're excited, but how excited do you have to be like, yeah, I'm gonna eat this?
Well,
it had to have been an accident. It had to.
It had to be alcohol, a dare, or just being or being so enthusiastic that the Eagles won a Super Bowl that you know.
Even if somebody dares you, what's your prize? What is your prize?
The fact that you were known as a dude that ate horse excrement for the rest of your life, and you can tell your grandchildren.
And he's a Philly fans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course they're Philly fans.
Let me say this, right? And I know I may get in trouble later.
Really? Might as well.
The Eagles fans, man. I will say this, being in DC metropolitan area, one thing I will say that the Eagles fans are the most obnoxious. When they come down and they play the Washington football team, the most obnoxious. And also Dallas Cowboy fans. And what's more obnoxious is the Dallas Cowboy fans that live in DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I'm like, why are you so hyped over them? You don't even live in the area. It's just, you could be in a grocery store on a Sunday and you'll see, the men wearing their jerseys and their posing jersey, and literally you could be in the produce section and you just see them arguing about the teams. And I'm like, y'all both suck. Why are you guys arguing about teams that suck?
And the history of why there's so many Cowboys fans around DC, just because of the history of the segregation with the Redskins, that basically every black fan ended up becoming a Cowboys fan. Like I said, what's bad when the owner said, I will integrate black players on my team the day the Harlem Globetrotters put white players on. I mean, that's why they basically removed the name of the previous owner from that that seating level and replace it with Bobby Mitchell, because in addition to all the other stuff, they might as well just hey, we're gonna silently do this and just wipe it away, just like it was all a dream.
But I would say definitely those two teams, their fans are probably the most obnoxious. I just figure when I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I just feel like I have to speak my piece because they are just so gung ho. I understand being a fan, but it's some of these people literally go out in cuffs. They go out arrested, leaving the stadiums. The last time I went to Washington football team they were playing the Steelers. Roll my eyes. They were playing the Steelers, and the Steelers, they won, and they were literally getting ready to fight people in FedEx Field, and I'm like, you guys won. Like, why are you trying to fight? Like,
Yeah, they're like 40 miles south from the place where they should be fighting people. That's that. If you're gonna go fight somebody, take it to Baltimore. That's where they.
I'm like, these seats cost too much, because like I'm like, listen, whenever, that's just my thing. Like, whenever I go to a sporting event, like if I can't get the good seats, I'm not going. Like I don't want to do nosebleed. So if I'm paying good money for my seats, so I don't want any commotion and any foolishness. I'm like, people, they spend money, especially just take the equation, take out the ticket price. When you go there and you buy the food, I mean, the food will run you a good, it basically burn a hole in your pockets. I went to the preseason, I think that was the last event I ever went to. I went to the Washington football team. I had a preseason game, and this was in 2019, in August 29th. It was actually the day my niece Favor was born. I literally had some good seats. I probably paid like $35 for it. I was like in the dream ticket section, like right there at the goal post, and I literally paid maybe $30 for some hard chicken tenders and a soda. Like, I swear I could have chipped a tooth or scratched my gums.
Oh,
those chicken tenders were so hard and dry.
I will never see. That's the one thing I hate about the NFL, and I'll say it. I hate certain things about the NFL. I hate with the passion that I love about baseball. The fact that, I'll say this: Orioles games, because Nats games are no better than a Redskins game going to. And the thing is this, because one thing is about, and I'll say this: this is one of the pluses about going to an Orioles game. You can go outside, buy all your food outside from the vendors. All those people got those little corners up. Put in your book bag. Walk on through. That's all. Walk on through. And that's the only, like I said, and we tried that in Nats game. We almost had to basically, you can only take in one bottle of water, maybe a one food item. And that's the one reason.
They don't like, even if you go to a football game, you can't even go. You have to come in there with the clear
plastic. Clear bag. You can't take a purse, can't take an umbrella in. And that's just, that's the one thing. I'm like, honestly, that's the one reason why I don't miss a football game. The only reason, the last football game I went to, I would say, the prior to the last football game, well, actually I've been to a bunch, but like I said, my best experience at the football game was when I was covering one. That was it, because that's the one thing I like being a sports reporter. You get fed. You don't do that. You don't do it as a cops reporter. You don't go to the courtroom and they have a nice little spread out. No, as a sports reporter, they gave you, there was in Philly too, of all places. I covered the Eagles game, Eagles Saints. They had like a breakfast crepe stand. They had like a whole spread full of food and all this other stuff. They gave you the stats. You still go down to the locker room and interview people. And even if you already recorded your interview, they'll give you a whole typed up sheet. You don't even have to really put any effort into doing anything. And that's all you had to do. That's the only way I will ever really go back to a football game, because honestly, as a fan, I am not impressed. Baseball games. Yeah, baseball games.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna go to a football game, I'm gonna eat the food at the tailgate. That's probably the best part of the football game, the tailgating, because you can eat your heart's desire. That way, you don't have to spend $100 for a burger and a soda.
But I feel like the food inside is a part of the experience. Like, that's just like me going to the movie theaters and not having the movie popcorn. Even though I can't lie, I have snuck some snacks in.
Like I said, if you haven't, then you either on the honor society or a liar. That's all it is.
But you have to sneak in reasonable things. Like, I swear.
I'm not. Hold up. I tell you this. Hold up. No. I tell you this. I swear. One time, me and my wife brought like half the White Castle menu into the movie theater. We're just like,
was it in a big purse? Was it in a big purse? That's the only way you can disguise it.
she had a big purse, and I put some in my coat. So yes.
See, we listen. This is. I had friends. We all went to see Tropic Thunder. So this is how long ago it was. People, my friends, just by their names, Greg and Candace, they had bags of popcorn in sandwich bags and just kept handing it out to everybody. And some of us, I snuck in something from Dairy Queen, a burger from Dairy Queen, and all this other stuff. Pockets full. Other people had the dollar store stuff. I mean, see, and like I said. To me, movie
that
theater.
Person that's in the theater that's making all that noise, rattling.
Like you hear the rapper and stuff. We're just like
rattling the
well, here's the thing. That it sounds like any other box of candy that you would buy at the movie theater. But that's the one thing. To me, I say this: the movie theater is like the reverse, is the buffet, but in reverse. Where you bring in the bag to pull out the food, as opposed to bring in the bag to load up on food when you go out. You know, because I remember, you guys probably remember the Bonanza steakhouses or the Ponderosa steakhouses. My sisters would take a big purse. They would line it with a plastic bag or napkins, and then they just take all the wings off the buffet.
Oh my God.
And stuff it in there. Wouldn't be anything else. And you know, this is the era well before the air fryer, so you don't get the reheated consistency and crispiness. But yeah, that was pretty much, you know, that to me, hey, you know, we're going to the buffet. Yeah, I'll get some of the stuff, the ice cream and all that. Those wings to go.
like this.
I don't think I've ever taken any food out from the buffet ever. I probably should have, but I don't think I've ever done that.
I'm just saying you can now.
Line your purse with a bag that doesn't spill grease, and just load up your crunchy stuff. No saucy stuff, just crunchy stuff that easy to reheat.
I think I would only do like if it was like a pizza buffet. I like pizza, but like to me, I think that I've always been the type that I've never really liked buffet because I'll be that person that people will be mad at. I'll go to the buffet and I'll just get one plate. Just because, that's all I want to eat. Like, I think sometimes, you think that if you go to a buffet, you'll end up eating more and more and more and more and more, but you really don't.
Yeah. I mean, now I've seen people who get the same plate of the same food over and over and over. That's, that's one thing. But, like I said, I'm going to sample it. I mean, of course, nowadays, last time I went to a Chinese buffet.
That's what I was just about mentioning.
See, I went to a Chinese buffet now with COVID. Now you basically tell them what you want and they'll scoop it on your plate, which is such a, I can't do this. It's like getting your gas pumped in New Jersey. I'm a grown adult. I know what I can do. Yeah, New Jersey is another place I don't like going to, but I'm a grown adult and I like to be treated like a grown adult. This isn't like I decided to get one of those Colonel's famous bowls from KFC. You ever hear the comedian? He talked about, man, I just got myself a failure pie and a sadness bowl that, you treat me like a grown adult that I can't eat corn, mashed potatoes, and chicken by themselves. You have to feed it to me like I am feed it to me like I am a baby. I'm capable enough to doing all this stuff. And I think, I like to have that courtesy of it. And just like I said, I don't like like if you ever been in New Jersey, which God, I assume you definitely have a lot. I don't like people pumping my gas. I really don't.
That's annoying.
I don't trust anybody with my card.
Weird. I mean, to me, I think it's weird because I remember the first time I, actually driven my car to New Jersey, pull up at the gas tank, and I'm getting out the car. The guy's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Like, bro.
Because I mean, I've been to New Jersey many of times, maybe passing through, stopping, but very rarely have I ever stopped at a gas station. So the first time that I actually had to stop at a gas station, I was not aware. I wasn't aware that, I got out of my car and he's looking at me like, okay. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, we got to pump your gas. I felt so weird.
It's just why?
Because to me, I feel like, it's like Earl said, it's something that I'm capable of doing. Like, I feel like it's like, I don't know. I didn't feel right. It's pumping gas.
It's pumping. Oh, man.
Like, I mean, to me, I just feel like, I don't see I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could be the person pumping everybody's gas, because I just feel like if you're not from that state where they do that and you're used to doing it on your own, it's, to me, I feel like is a task that, you know, and maybe I'm just thinking too deep about it, but just
Like
let
this,
people pump the gas.
no. Let me say something. Like, because basically we just basically railed the whole most of the whole East Coast. Like, we just trash Jersey, we trash Philly, we trash DC, Baltimore.
I trash New York. I don't care.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I'm not trashing. I'm not trashing these places. You know, I'm not trashing. I mean, I'm sure that there are some, you know, wonderful things in all these places.
Not New Jersey.
Wow.
And I work there, so
I try.
basically remotely.
Yo, that Walmart is, yo, don't sleep on that Walmarts. I go for the Walmart, like, and my family's out there. But anyway,
I'm trying to think.
I think about New Jersey. I'm like, hold on. Now, I think I'm kind of agreeing with you.
You basically have to make a right turn to make a left turn. That's basically, I can't do it. And I know somebody who lives in DC now who is from New Jersey. I know from somebody who lives in DC now who is originally from Jersey and like goes to New York stuff a lot, and is from Jersey, and it's like, yeah, hey, and he's a traffic engineer, so he's like, hey, don't hate on the right turn and make a left turn. It is safer, but I can't. I just can't. You know, to me, I just can't do it.
My wife, every time we're driving to Jersey, she's like, you know, you can turn right here. I was like, what? And it's so weird. It's just like, you're so used to having laws, and there's like, yeah, you can turn right here. It's fine. Do you see a sign that says you can't turn right? I was like, I don't trust Jersey that way. Like, I don't trust them.
Speaking of traffic, like, I think what I kind of get confused about in being in this area my whole life, like the circles in DC. You ever been in DC? I'm like, literally, I will go in a circle and I will always miss. I mean, I always see the sign and be like, you know, the third circle.
It'd be like just like
Massachusetts Avenue or something. I always miss it.
You're like Chevy Chase in European Vacation, where he keeps missing the turn and he starts slowly going insane as he goes around.
I'm like,
we're almost there.
And they have a few in Baltimore, but I'm just sitting there. What was their obsession with these circles?
Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about Baltimore.
They say it's supposed to be safer because, you know, people should know when they're right away, but they're you know, they yield to the right of traffic. But
no,
I don't know. That's always. I mean, it's probably safer, but again, people who don't know how to drive, it's still a, you know, it's always an issue, regardless if you're the most skilled driver in the world.
We get a lot of tourists that come in the area. So I mean, if I've been here, you know, my whole life, then I'm probably used to it. But imagine someone who's not familiar with the area, and I mean, everything looks alike, you know, and you're trying to, like, especially DuPont Circle. When I'm going around a circle, I've been around a circle many a times in my life, and I'm just like, darn it, I missed it. I missed the turn. I got to go.
It's just like, damn. Oh my God.
And especially when the GPS tells me, you know, sometimes I need to use GPS and it always tells me to go the wrong way. So it's just crazy.
One of the things I had to ask you about, and I'll go this quickly, some of your favorite athletes, and I know, Vicky, you were talking about Yasiel Puig. Why is Yasiel Puig one of your favorite athletes?
I don't know. I just like him. I think what I like about him, it's not even about his athletic ability. I mean, I just think physically the guy is just a monster. He's just stacked. He's a powerhouse. But I think that I like his charisma. You know, I like his charisma, you know, what he, you know, brought to baseball. Just, I feel like he was a showman, you know, and I feel like that has caused a lot of problems, you know, with some older generation people who think that baseball is supposed to be a certain way. And I know that him and what was that guy? I know we talked about him.
Tatis?
No. It was another guy that he always used to fight.
Bumgarner. The John. Oh, well, now he's on the Diamondbacks. Madison Bumgarner.
Yes, those two used to always fight all the time. At least 2 fights I've seen them have. I mean, I just like his showmanship. He's entertaining to watch. I wish he could have some better numbers, but you know,
See, last year he was like
I
close
think
to
that's
signing with
numbers.
the Orioles, and he was like, yeah, he was.
I saw that. I didn't even like follow up to see. And actually, speaking of him, it's just
Oh,
weird.
jeez. This is stalker level.
I mean, I didn't even. This is
He
kind
didn't
of
play
weird.
last year.
Exactly. I'm like,
One of my coworkers actually got me this because they know I like him so much. So that was back when he was playing with the Dodgers. So it's just weird that we're talking about him, and just on my bookshelf I have a picture.
it's just like, here he is. Call me Puig.
The wild horse. I mean, I just like the fact that, you know, he's just himself. He just, you know, sometimes you need somebody different to break the mold, to be, you know, different. You know, I like the crazy hair, you know, the playfulness. So, as far and any other favorite athletes that I have, I don't know. I mean, I just think that he's one of the main ones that I like, that I've been, you know, followed for a couple of years now. But I've kind of sports has kind of taken a backseat. Like you guys know, I've always used to really be deep into sports, and we would always have our sports predictions, and I was actually pretty good at it. You know, but yeah, I don't think I have any favorite athlete now. I mean, current. I mean, I used to be a diehard Elway fan, but I think that after I was a little disappointed in, you know, his stance when it came to the players kneeling. So I'm kind of like, you know, giving him the side eye, like, okay, you know, I've been, you know, following you, loving you for years, and you know, you just start to see how certain people think. So kind of side eye him now.
Yeah, and the thing is that, yeah, like my last favorite athlete was Adam Jones, and I made it a priority is that when you start getting to a certain age where your favorite players are younger than you might need to start getting that up, and that was it. Adam Jones was probably, to me, the last, you know, last favorite Oriole that I had. Now, again, familiarity, just the fact that he was there, the fact that he was a black superstar with the Orioles, and hadn't had that since Eddie Murray, and that was like the 80s. So, you know, and again, there's no knock on Ripken and all those other guys, but you know, it's good to see the representation. But honestly, now I just watch it for the sake of watching. I like the team, and it's really hard to, with any sport, it doesn't matter what team, it's hard to really get invested in somebody who in a good 6 to 10 years might be gone, or in sometimes 5 to 7 years could be gone, and then you're just sort of being a fan and just trying to do that all over again. So to me, it's now being a fan of the team instead of the players. I mean, I'll say players are exciting and things like that, but I no longer have any favorites. Like my favorite athletes were what? Chris Webber, Cal Ripken, Adam Jones. That was pretty much it. And you know, most of the time people change teams, and to me, it's hard to get invested in the players, but to me, it's just a team overall.
You know what? You're right. I mean, that makes sense to like the teams instead of the players, because the players, they go to different places, you know. But I think for me, when I pick favorite players, it's always for some weird reason. Like when I was a little girl, I don't know why, but I loved John Stockton. I don't know why.
That is like the most.
Kid, you could tell me I love John Stockton, but now I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
like why?
Or whenever we remember, Scott, when we was in college and we used to play live NBA Live, and I used to whoop you. I always played with.
I'm sorry, what?
I used to always whoop you.
No.
Yes.
The lies that you spew.
I used to always beat him with the Sacramento Kings, and I was always busting threes on him with Stojakovic. Right? Always busting threes.
Why you? Oh, we're gonna have a talk after this.
It's
we're gonna talk.
I used to beat him.
No,
a lot.
you need to tell the truth. You tell the truth. Look, y'all people,
I know I did. I used to
you're
beat
making
him a lot.
me.
I used to beat him a lot.
I let you win. I let you. Like,
No.
no.
I was busting them threes.
Yo, I swear to God, if we weren't on this, I'll tell you, pick up the sticks right now. Let's see what you got. But no, let's focus.
That was probably the only game that I was good at. But I used to be busting them threes on Scott, whooping them.
No comment. Move on.
So feeling like Brian Gumble. Moving on. So now one of the things that we were going to discuss and we're going to discuss is Victoria, you got into painting. What led to your interest in painting, and how long ago did you do it, and what was it that you like about it now?
Well, honestly, I think that I started painting. It wasn't long ago. It was probably maybe 2014, 2015. No, 2015. And I think I was just going through a transitional period in my life, and I was just daring myself to do things that I've never done before. And it just started out with, one day I decided I was gonna go to a paint and sip in Baltimore, and I did my first painting. I think it was like a wild orchid. It was a purple orchid. That thing looks so terrible. It looks, you can tell it's a flower, but you can tell that it was, my first painting. I don't have any formal training or anything like that. I just, went there and followed the instructions from the teacher. And it kind of just took on a life of its own. And, I just started doing it more and more and more and more. And before you know it, I actually started getting good at it. I'm not a professional, I don't think I could sell my work, but if you look at my work from the very beginning and my last painting, you can definitely see the progression. And like I said, I still don't have any formal training. I'm just know how to follow instructions well, or just have that, creative eye. So, that's just how it kind of started. I was in a transitional period, and I was just daring myself to be bold and do something different. And look at what I have. I have some pieces I can show. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not gonna show the one that I showed y'all before. But
I'm sorry.
It says I'm out of wine. I don't know if you guys can see it. The other one is more a more adult. It's on my wall here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but can y'all see that?
Yeah, I think we can see it.
Yeah, that's what I looked like in college. Like
kids, close your eyes. Don't look at the picture, kids. Y'all out here watching, don't look at that. That ain't for your eyes. Black love.
To you,
Son!
which is your favorite? Which is your favorite photo?
Huh?
To you, which is your favorite photo that you posted? Your favorite painting that you did.
Probably that one. Probably the one that I just showed here. The one I call Black Love. I don't know why. I think I just like the what the picture represents is a man and a woman expressing their love. They have the crowns on their heads, so I think it's a good message behind it. So I think that when I specifically picked that session to go to for I like the picture, and I just thought that it was a good message behind it. Especially like nowadays, people are really like, if you get on social media, it's like you think the sky is falling. So, I think that it's good to put positive, images of love out there. So I think that that's probably one of my favorite. And the other one that I showed, the one that says I'm out of wine. I don't know. For me, I really like this whole pop art kind of thing. That for some reason, when I see those type of images, I just immediately, go for them. the whole comic book, the little dot skin and everything. I really enjoy that for some reason.
I mean, with the pandemic sort of putting that stuff to a halt, I mean, I know you'll probably be eagerly awaiting the next opportunity to paint again.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've definitely missed it. I definitely missed it. I think the last time I did a painting was last year on Valentine's Day. I had did a it kind of looked like a self-portrait, but it's not me. I mean, it looks like how I would, because to be honest with you, a lot of times when I do portraits of other people, I kind of throw some elements of myself in it whenever I'm doing it. So I mean, that's when I say it's self-portrait, but not me. I mean, that's what I meant. I always put some part of me in it. But I miss it. I really do. Like sometimes when I look on my Facebook and it shares the memories, and I see some of my past paintings show up. I've just been recently, sharing it. I mean, it's not that I can't paint at home, because now, these sip and paints, they do virtual events. But I feel like there's something about that human connection and being amongst other people while, creating art. It's something, meaningful. So I miss that. And I don't know, whenever the situation, the pandemic is going to bring our lives back to normal. But I just have to cope. I have to find ways to still, create and do the things that I love.
I mean, yeah, and it's really paid an impact on, like you said, being able to be around people, and the virtual stuff sometimes you just can't replicate being in person around people and reacting.
You
And
need that human touch. I'm a person that likes to embrace people. If I tap you on your shoulder, it could be a hug. That's me, and I think that's really important. I mean, the virtual thing is good, but we're humans. We're made to connect with each other.
yeah, definitely. Scott, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, you work for the U.S. Postal Service, and I was curious, how did you get the job, and what led to your decision to work for the Postal Service, and what is that like? What is a daily take us through a day with you working at the post office?
Hold on a second. I'm gonna need something strong for this one. Okay.
Something strong like what?
Okay, I'm ready.
Everybody's got wine except for me, and I just can't do it for dietary reasons. But
no, well, actually, my mom, said, "Hey, they're hired at the post office. Why don't you give it a shot?" And it's funny, my grandparents used to work in the post office, and my mom worked at the post office for a short time in college. So it's like a third generation thing. That's pretty cool. Day at the post office. It's dang. Because it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's like you're delivering letters, you're delivering packages. People, especially nowadays, when everyone's waiting for their stimulus check, they're just sitting on the porch like,
they ready to fight you, huh?
They're just like, yo, you got my stimulus check, son, or you got my W-2? They just sitting there watching you. This is like,
you waiting for the postman to pull up.
Oh yeah, but now I actually am an instructor now, so I teach people how to become postman.
Okay.
So that's a whole lot better, because on days like snowing, I would be inside, and I'll just tell them, "Here, this is how you start. Enjoy it while you can."
I assume the grip is the wrong way down. You got to turn it upside down so you're ready to be on the defensive.
Oh no, you drink first. You don't want to waste it. You drink first, then use the weapon later. Then use the weapon next.
Oh,
you don't waste wine.
Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. One of the things I wanted to talk about quickly, and as we're moving along, is Vicky, you mentioned briefly about your I guess your semi NFL boycott at one point. Well, I mean, I think we all know why. I mean, our feelings on why, but how did you try to, avoid the NFL with the passion? Because honestly, it's hard to not get away from it, especially when it's all on TV and on the internet.
Well, I mean, for me, it's easy to just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. And I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of hypocrisy in things. And I'm just the type of person that when I, believe strongly about certain things, that, it's not hard for me to stick to that. And I'll just be honest, I have not, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl this year. I mean, first of all, I didn't watch Super Bowl because I knew they were going to cheat. Or national name.
I thought you didn't watch the Super Bowl because it was over by the first quarter.
I mean, I don't think that I've even watched the Super Bowl in the last couple of years. I think probably the last Super Bowl that I even got a glimpse of is when I think it was Atlanta got cheated.
Oh, yeah. Cheated.
They didn't get cheated. That choked. They choked. The Heimlich was definitely Heimlich and CPR was definitely needed for that moment. Like I said, you can't cheat when you have the world's worst coach on there, Kyle Shanahan. He calls himself 2 Super Bowls. So he's not. And so I can't say that cheated. He's just bad.
Dang.
So I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that there were some quarterbacks that I don't want to say suck. That's really strong.
I mean, the numbers don't lie.
I feel like there were some quarterbacks out there that were given opportunities, and they were not that great. And I don't feel that Colin Kaepernick should have been sitting out.
Right.
So I mean, whatever his protest was, I feel like that was his right to stand up and peacefully protest. He wasn't hurting anyone. He wasn't, causing any disruptions. It's not his fault that, people tend to hijack narratives when they don't want to hear the message. So to me, I just felt that, from a long NFL fan, I just felt like I couldn't really support the hypocrisy. Like, this guy is not playing, and you got people like Kirk Cousins, playing for the Washington football team like he's actually that good. I mean, the guy is like a polished Rex Grossman. Like, why are you giving this guy a chance? I mean, not saying that, not to really dog Kirk Cousins, but I felt like when you have situations like that, when you have mediocre quarterbacks like that, and you push them up, on the platform, when you can have somebody like that who's been to the Super Bowl. I mean, they didn't win, but Colin Kaepernick could have outplayed so many other people that are just mediocre.
Right.
I mean, Sam Bradford had a career for a long time, but that's neither here nor there.
So,
but
I mean, that's kind of why, because I just didn't feel it's fair. I mean, forget what you think about what he did. I mean, what he did not hurt anybody. Some people's feelings were hurt because they don't want to address the issues that he was protesting. But that doesn't give them right to not have him play. There were some teams, like I said, the Washington football team were in desperate need of a quarterback that they could have taken him. They could have taken him.
Could be more desperate than Denver. Like,
I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you don't really hear me, hooping and hollering about the Broncos, because they've been in desperate situations where they've needed a quarterback. I mean, I'm not even saying put him in the front. At least put him on the roster and try him out. Try him out. There's been so many other players that have been mediocre, but they've been pushed to the forefront and they haven't been able to produce anything. So
right.
that's kind of like, I just don't understand the decision making of some of these teams. I mean, you can be in the NFL, you can do anything. Like this guy that just beat up his girlfriend, the guy from the Seahawks, was named Wheeler.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was crazy.
I mean, you can do stuff like that and still play. Like, from my understanding, I have not followed up on it. but he's still playing. He's not been fired or suspended, right?
Oh, he got
No,
let
he
go
got
like
cut.
the day of or day
Okay.
after he was gone.
Okay, but somebody else is gonna pick him up. I can assure that.
Probably. Well,
I don't know if Ray Rice never
Rice-
got a shot. Ray Rice never got a shot.
That's what I'm like. Look, nobody. But I don't care how desperate they are. But Ray Rice is still.
No,
Hey, there's a couple of guys who were on Kansas City that had some issues, and
Yeah.
you know, and
I mean,
you know, but
so that's what I'm saying. Like they're you know, these players are people, and they are flawed. They have issues. But to me, it seems like certain things are forgivable and other things are not. Like, you can't tell me that Colin Kaepernick kneeling, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's
You can't tell me him kneeling was so bad that, you know, he couldn't play again.
But people justified Tim Tebow praying and like, oh, this is why he didn't get to play in the NFL anymore. No, that's not the reason.
He sucked.
He won a playoff game, but you know.
He sucked. I mean,
let me say something, Vic. The reason why he'll probably get a job before Ray Rice, the running back situation, like running backs have like a good 5-6 years on them if they, you know, if they have like a short window of opportunity. Ray Rice was like on the tail end. He wasn't like dominating the league or anything. He was just like he was okay running back. He played his role. He did his thing. Now, linemen.
But you're basically saying that if you are talented, and we can forgive your sin if you're talented and you can bring us a win. But if you're not, to hell with you.
If it was Ray Rice in his prime, we would have found out. If Ray Rice was in his prime and that happened, we would have found out what would have happened. But since he was sort of on the tail end, like you said, you know, like I said, if it had been, if he was MVP caliber Ray Rice, you know, the hey diddle 4-22 out of the middle, yeah, he probably would have gotten another shot.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, video or no video, that's the thing.
No, look at the guy from Dallas who kept getting, you know, they kept getting chance after chance. And
McLean? Yeah. You fire a gun in somebody's head. I mean, before we derail, you do some of the stuff that he did, and he got like 2 or 3 chances. I mean, of course, Raiders fans embraced him, but that's a whole different story.
But you see why I kind of feel like, I'm not saying that I won't ever support the NFL. Like, I'm not really boycotting them, but it kind of I just feel like they're not consistent.
Yeah,
they're not consistent, and to me, I just felt like, you know, that was just a way to silence the issue by hijacking the narrative and making it something else. You know, if he's kneeling for one particular reason, why are we talking about patriotism and the flag and all this other stuff? Like, that's not what it's about. It's not. Like, just say, hey, I don't want to talk about what he's protesting, but don't make it turn it into something else, and then not allow him a chance when pretty much you have players out there that's on drugs, beating women, cheating, you know, doing all this crazy stuff, killing people, and they're good. They can still play, or they're given multiple chances. But I'm glad you guys told me about the Wheeler guy, because I mean, at first when I saw the story, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not even reading anything from
that's enough. But like, it's just so thick, you know, it's so flip-floppy with the NFL. They try to put all this positive images to try to clean up. They're trying to do everything to clean up the whole Kaepernick mess. Like, that's my opinion. Like, and I love football. Like, every Sunday I'm glued to football, but for fantasy reasons, like, and because I need to take something away from my team sucking. But like, this is just basically, you know, we're trying to clean up what we did. Like, they saying, oh, you should have gave Kaepernick a job. I've seen all these quarterbacks come in left and right that no one would even think of. It's like, really? Over Kaepernick? Him? Like,
right.
If Blaine Gabbert keeps getting jobs, that just tells you all you need to know.
That's what I mean. That's all I'm saying. With the whole situation, like, you really can't justify why he doesn't have a job. I just, that's one of the things that I will always, and if I was him, I would honestly be pissed, because it's like now, that you see things that are going on in the country and everybody's like, he was right. Duh, he was
Like,
right.
duh.
He didn't just make the stuff up. This is a real issue. And like now everybody is so woke, and like
Exactly.
if I was him, I would just go ham and just say, this is what I've been telling you guys, but y'all were ready to just drag me. And now NFL is doing all this stuff talking about, yeah, well, no.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL, I'm sort of indifferent about it. I'll watch the Washington games, but it's not like, I don't support the NFL really like that. I'll watch the games, which I guess is bad enough, but I'll watch it on bootleg because again, where I'm at, all I get is Ravens and Eagles games. But
I watch it on. I just watch it on my phone and try to keep track of scores. Like, I'm not really interested in football and only the Super Bowl I just watch for. It's just a reason to eat and watch commercials, and because the game, I have no horse in the race, so I'm just watching to see if it's entertaining.
Two out of the past 3 years have been clunkers, and if it keeps getting that point, what's the point? I'll just I'll watch the Puppy Bowl like I did. I ended up changing to the Puppy Bowl halftime. I didn't watch much of the halftime show with the kitty halftime show.
All right, I got a question for everybody. I got a question. The halftime show. The Weeknd paid $3 million of his own money to produce that. I don't know if you guys saw the halftime show, but it kind of looked like I don't know what that was, but let me ask you something. If you could, I bring this up because they just talked about Justin Timberlake and the whole Janet Jackson thing, and he finally apologized and all that stuff. Like, it's big shaking head, like, too little, too late.
You should have just kept that apology to itself.
Let me ask you something. If you could book one person for the halftime show of the Super Bowl, given all that's been going on, like, you have the right to book the music, find out what your focus is, bring that attention. Who would you pick and why?
Are we picking living or dead, or are we just going living?
Let's do living. Like,
okay. Oh well, there goes my like 4 choices, but
it's like dead.
I don't care about modern music. I really don't. Like I said, if if you're just gonna as fans kick us in the crotch, just put Taylor Swift on and just be done with it. You'll lose me as a football fan after that. I mean, hey,
no.
Hey, if you're gonna,
it's like,
we're just gonna do this. To me, it doesn't matter now. Like I said, the commercials are bland. Most of the commercials are bland, and the halftime show doesn't help if the game isn't blah. And I really have no preference. I really don't.
I think the person I'm gonna pick has already done it before.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is probably the only person that now that I can say that can play multiple events, and really keep people's attention. Like, I've seen him in concert years ago when he did with the Moon Jungle, whatever, Moonshine Jungle tour.
No, that was the unorthodox jukebox concert. Whatever that thing.
I gotta go look it up, but it was a couple of years ago. But yeah, Bruno Mars is probably the only person that I would really like to see to do the Super Bowl. That I feel that can do the halftime show and really keep people's attention. I think maybe my honorable mention that I probably don't think this will happen. Maybe Rihanna.
Ooh, that's a good
I have
one.
I honestly haven't. I have no one, but I'd go the extreme just to say, hey, let's put them out there and just, hey, at least we'll ruin halftime shows for everybody and we'll never need to see one again. Let's put Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj out there. Let's go. If we're going to go extreme, let's go extreme.
Wait. I got one.
For apathy, I don't care.
Oh, yo, I was gonna say Bruno Mars, but put Cardi B. Let her have her own show.
Oh,
I can kind of see that. I mean, for some reason,
Oh,
I could see that.
good luck
Because,
explaining to your kids what WAP is.
I'm tired of seeing like Rolling Stone. You know, I'm not Rolling Stone. Yeah.
Yeah, Rolling Stone.
I mean, they're all either way, same thing.
I just,
Yeah.
you know, I would like to see, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, I'm a Red Hot Chili Pepper fan. I would like to see them.
I thought they did it a few years ago. It might have been 10 years ago. Way time flies. I thought they at least had like a little cameo.
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah, was it with Bruno Mars? Was it with Bruno Mars or something? Somebody they showed up like out of nowhere for like a song or two, and then.
Oh, they're kind of like the Missy Elliott of Katy Perry's. Like they just popped up like, "Hey, remember me?"
I remember. You know who was terrible? I think one of the last Super Bowls I remember watching, the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh Lord!
Like I don't know if it was their sound, but they were terrible.
This is why you did the demos, but you did the air checks beforehand. Honestly, like I said, I want to see either you start doing the holograms, and you get the hologram.
Those are weird.
It's just looking like
can't beat any other show like the last show.
If you had to do a hologram, who would you pick?
It's Michael Jackson. No, not at all. My hologram, Michael Jackson. That's it. And I mean, for I guess anarchist purposes. Look, you know what? Bail R. Kelly out. Let's get him on this.
Wow!
He's got the repertoire of songs that everybody will do, and like I said, honestly,
oh no, no,
they've had worse people.
What song could R. Kelly actually play at the Super Bowl?
I Believe I Can Fly.
Step in the Name of Love.
World's Greatest.
Like,
the World's Greatest.
For good family fun. It's a family show when these guys are crashing into each other violently. Is a family show.
He's got like a whole bunch of songs. Gotham City. He can play all the ones that make everybody feel safe. Like I said, he'll play all the ones that make everybody feel safe, and then everybody will find. Then maybe throw in ignition, and then and call and throw in ignition, and then call it a night.
Hotel.
Yo, NFL, call us. We got ideas. Like,
oh man, hey, well, if he was on better terms with Jay-Z, it probably would have worked.
I just think that R. Kelly's he's gonna fade to black, and you'll never hear from him again.
Had this happened 30 years ago, he'd been fine. If it happened 30 years ago, he would have been fine. He would have kept rolling. It happened to James Brown,
Yeah, tell Bill Cosby that. He's like.
But you know what? To be honest with you, I would not be surprised if somebody tried to pull it off and have R. Kelly. I mean, because if you think about it, the things that have been deemed acceptable in the country for the last couple years, look, I would not be surprised. And I would not be surprised if people actually packed the stadium to see him. It wouldn't. Weirder things have happened.
Bunch of older women, that's all it is. It'll be a bunch of older women. Not the demographic. It'll be the demographic they want to try to cover, but then think about, nope, we don't need that 16 to 20 female range. We don't need that.
Some little kids ain't listening to R. Kelly.
Okay. Let's before we.
Oh my God!
They better not be listening to him.
Because that's what got him in trouble in the first place.
Girl, turn that off.
I mean, that's why he's the Pied Piper. But
you know what?
Okay. We're about to open that can of worms.
No. But I'm saying, when he called himself that, like that should have been a bell that rang off in somebody's head, like ding, ding.
Plus
ding,
ding. Having your 16-year-old wife sing "AJ in a Number." That's another one.
I was just like.
He was basically telling on himself.
He still got away with it. But the only video he wore the mask on was "Step in the Name of Love." But that's the wrong video. Ending on that note, quick thing. I want to talk about Scott's wedding. You guys had to go down to Mexico, and you were able to be a guest at Scott's wedding. What was that experience like?
Oh, you want to go first? Because
let him talk about his wedding.
No. I want to hear the guest point of view. Like everybody, nobody cares about the groom's point of view. We want to hear what the guest experience was, because They treat the grooms like they're superstars. I want to see if they treat you, kind of the same way. Like,
I had a really, really, really good time. That was my first time in Mexico, or first time traveling to Mexico by myself. I was bold. I was
she's
really,
like, yo, I'm going.
yeah, because I was concerned about going by myself, and everything was beautiful, like the way they had everything set up. You had a van pick you up at the airport and take you to the resort. The resort was so beautiful. Like as soon as I got my bags and I was going to check in, it was like just the view of the beach from where the lobby was. It was just amazing. I was taken aback. The room was beautiful, just the whole resort, the food and just the events. And on the wedding day, it's kind of funny. I have this story that the whole time I was just chilling, but the morning of the wedding, I decided to go to the pool, right? I wanted to lay out and have, swim in the pool, get some sun. And like maybe a couple hours before the wedding, because I think we had to be there at 4:30. And I'm an early bird, so I was going to be there at 4
Yeah,
o'clock.
we always run late, so I don't know.
I was having some margaritas at the pool because it was just bringing the margaritas, and probably like around 1 or 2 o'clock, I started to feel a little shaky. I'm like, oh no, that's not. I've been here a couple days, and why did I do this? So anyway, I gathered myself, took myself back to the room and try to shake it off, and got dressed and watched Scott get married. It was so beautiful. Just watching, Jackie come down the aisle and hearing the music. I was like, oh, try not to cry. And then Scott comes down the aisle to some wrestling music.
Yes, I did. Damn right I did.
I was like, this guy is crazy. He walked down the aisle to some wrestling music. And everything was beautiful. The music, the ceremony, the bride, the groom, the bridesmaids. I love their colors, the color scheme. It was just a wonderful experience. I'm glad I was there. I was, present to see him, take this big step in his life. And, it was good, Oh, and another story.
Oh, jeez, here we go. I was about to say, how long did she
look? You know what story I'm about to tell. Remember what happened to me at the bouquet?
Oh God. Woo!
Let me tell you, right? So we got there to the reception. Scott comes in there, walks in with Jackie, his new beautiful bride.
Wrestling music.
He has wrestling music, and he has a wrestling belt.
Yes, I do.
I'm like, this dude is really, he is really feeling himself. He is really doing the most. Anyway, so we're sitting down, we have the food, and but it comes time to throwing the bouquet. So me, I get up there, and I believe I'm in the front. Long story short, when Jackie throws the bouquet is in the air, and literally, it's on the tip of my finger. Somebody pushed me from behind, knocked me on the ground for this bouquet. And somebody caught it. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna let Scott tell that part because I ain't gonna. I couldn't believe it. I'm glad I was not wearing a dress because I kind of wore like a body. It's not a bodysuit, but a jumpsuit.
Jumpsuit.
Man, if I had a dress on, they would have seen everything. Literally, when I say. And Scott didn't know because I got up, I picked myself up like nothing happened. I'm clapping like, oh, I literally had it on the tips of my fingers. I was impressed. Like, I'm not gonna like throw bows to catch a bouquet. It's really it's not that serious. It's not that deep, but apparently some others had more motivation to catch this bouquet. So Scott didn't know. Scott didn't know that I got beat up on the floor until I think it was a couple months ago. A couple months
when
ago,
we were in
when you came down
Baltimore, yeah.
And I told you, I was like, "Hey, Scott, you know I got beat up." You know, and he was like, "What?" I said, "Listen, when Jackie threw the bouquet, somebody knocked me out to catch the bouquet." And then you play the video back, and lo and behold, you see it's on video.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, oh!
I was on the floor, had heels on in my jumpsuit. Somebody knocked me out to get the bouquet.
Oh my gosh, I got to see this video.
I mean, it's so embarrassed. I mean, I gathered myself up. I played it off. I was like, clapping. I'm just looking around like, you serious?
You can't be embarrassed if you got pushed. That's a whole different thing. It's something different if you slip. But
you should do LeBron like foul.
I had heels on, but I was like in midair because it flew above, and like literally because somebody pushed me, it went down to the person behind me. So
Scott, just quickly tell us your perspective of it, and what wrestling team did you come out to?
Okay, so first I came out to Evolution, line in the sand, when I was walking with my mom and my dad down the aisle. I take great pride in that. Like that was cool because originally the plan was for me and my groomsmen to walk down to Evolution, but of course my wife would not let me do that. So I had to. So I told my mom and my dad, and my mom asked me, "What is that place?" She's like, I told them, "Don't worry about it. It's fine." Because she was like, "What kind of rock music is this?" She was like, I told her it's wrestling music. She was like, and Jackie said yes. I was like, yeah, kind of.
I was a little surprised when I heard it. I was like, what is this?
And then she was like,
mixed with wedding music,
No, because I wanted to have, like, it was my wedding too. I love my wife, like, but it's my day too. I wanted to have something interesting, like.
But that song though.
I thought you were gonna come down to Mr. Perfect or something, something a little more with a little more majesty to it.
No. I was because
Bret Hart's music,
Because I was supposed to walk down with my boys. So I was like, yo, me and my boys, we're gonna walk down to Evolution. And then Jackie's like, what are the bridesmaids gonna walk down to? I don't know, So she was like, no, they have to walk with the bridesmaids. So I was like, fine. But I'm still playing this damn song. And I just walked out. I did this down the aisle. I know Vic looked at me like, what is this boy?
I got pictures and videos of you.
Okay, I went like this. And my dad looked at me like, what is that? Don't worry about it. No, but
leave it up
overall, hey, it's my wedding too. Don't let her say it's her wedding. It's my damn wedding too. Anyway,
well, I think you definitely left your mark in there.
Thank you.
We can tell who came up with what, and that was all you.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys being here, and I don't want to hold you too much longer. We definitely have to do this again. I mean, there's so much stuff we didn't even get to, and I think like I said, we had a great time with this, and yeah, we'll definitely do this again. Before we wrap this up, anything you guys want to give? Anyone you want to give shout outs to? Anything you want to promote? Social media and things like that.
I want to let the ladies go first. Vic.
No, I'm just. I don't think I really have anything to promote just yet. I think when I do, I'll come back and promote that. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to follow me on Twitter.
Yes, we do.
That is a different arena there. I'm a little different there, but if you do, it's Vicky Love 84. It's VICKILOVE 84, and I think I'm on Instagram as well. I am Vicky Love 84. So.
And Scott, how about you?
Oh.
Do you do the social media much anymore?
Well, I just do it to follow other people. I have Instagram, Darkhawk30 at Instagram. I just follow people to see, like, oh, my life isn't that crazy. I need to step it up. But I just wanted to talk about this. Like, this is called Ground Up Coffee Club. This is made by a couple of friends of mine. They just started this last year. This is the truth right here. You can go to groundupcoffeeclub.com or find it on Instagram. Like, they make excellent coffee. Like, I gotta get some more of this stuff because I read through the first one so fast. I was like, I gotta get more. But I like to just step back and watch people on Instagram and Twitter lose their minds. I mean, that's just me.
Do you follow me on Twitter, Scott?
Probably not, because I talk to you almost every other time, so you're basically Twitter on the phone.
Yeah, well, no, my Twitter is a bit different.
Oh my God!
Earl will tell you.
Now we gotta see.
No. I mean, it's just a lot of political stuff, so it's just different. I'm more serious there.
Okay.
Well, guys, I really appreciate it. What we'll do is after we end this live stream, we'll stay for about another 5 minutes and talk about some post-show stuff, and then we'll go from there, and everybody will be free. For Victoria Robinson and Scott Johnson, of course, I am Earl Holland. We'll be back probably in the near future. You guys will check it out on Facebook or YouTube. Again, thanks a lot, you guys, and everybody. Just keep on listening. Don't forget to share this and give all your likes and everything else. Thanks once again, and everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Peace.